Good afternoon, class. My name is Aisha Ashley. I am a senior communication major from Blackshear, Georgia, specializing in public relations. And my theory of discussion that I chose to do my research paper on was the uncertainty reduction theory. So basically with this theory, it's also referred to as the axiomatic theory because it does have 4 axioms that go with it and that are kind of cohesive to the meaning of the theory. But first, just a little background about the theory. The theory was Charles Berger stating that we base our interactions and our intent of getting to know someone, or whether or not we don't want to get to know someone, based on 3 background conditions. Those conditions were anticipation of the future, what we anticipate will happen from meeting those people, incentive value, what we'll get out of meeting those people, and then also deviance. And basically just saying deviance has the power to boost our ability to reduce the uncertainty, or our willingness to reduce uncertainty with people that we interact with. So like I said, it does have 8 axioms, as you read in the text. So I'm just going to elaborate on those a little bit. The first axiom was verbal communication, basically saying the more verbal communication that you have with someone, the most likely it is for the uncertainty to be reduced. So basically, me meeting someone right off the bat, just getting to know them, the more I get to talk to them, the more comfortable I will be, and the more uncertainty that I am of getting to know them will be successful. The second one is nonverbal warmth. Basically just saying that you can by reading nonverbal cues, you are able to detect whether or not you're going to be comfortable around that person, or whether or not you really want to get to know them. Also reading their nonverbal cues, what they're saying, what their eye contact is saying, what their body language is saying, whether or not they feel comfortable around you, will also determine whether or not that interaction will reduce uncertainty between the two of you, or amongst a group of you as well. The third axiom is information seeking. High levels of information seeking tends to yield reduction in uncertainty, and that I feel like that's self-explanatory. The more you get to know someone, the more comfortable you are with them, so the least amount of uncertainty that you have towards them comes from the more information that you obtain about that person or that group of individuals. And then the fourth axiom, self-disclosure. This is the big one. Basically, this was the highlight of my paper. Basically saying that we choose and others choose what they want to disclose when they're getting to know you. And so whether or not you're disclosing, if someone feels like you're disclosing a lot about yourself and you're not being fully open, the level of uncertainty is high. So there is a positive correlation between self-disclosure and the uncertainty reduction theory. Just by saying the more you disclose about someone, the more likely they are about yourself or about someone else, the more likely they are to be uncertain about that interaction. The fifth axiom is basically saying that we would like others to reciprocate what we give. So if I am being 100% open to someone, I would expect that in return. And if they weren't giving me that same level or reciprocating the same things that I was giving to them, I would be a little bit more uncertain about our interaction together. Then the sixth axiom is similarity. I think this is a big one, especially when it comes to building new friendships, joining sororities or fraternities, or just getting to know people in general, or other organizations that aren't Greek organizations. It is very, very important that we want to find people that are like-minded to the things that we like as well, that you show similarities with. The more similarities that you find with someone tends to tell you whether or not you're going to be comfortable with that person. And so I think a lot of this theory has to do with comfortability, and just knowing what type of environment and type of people you want to be around. And if you're not comfortable with that environment, of course, again, that kind of raises uncertainty about certain situations. And then the seventh axiom is liking. The more you like someone, obviously the more or the least uncertain you are about them, or if they like the same things that you like. Again, it kind of goes with the seventh axiom. All these are cohesive and they kind of tie together. But the more you like someone, or you like the things that they like, or you believe in the same things they believe in, the lower your uncertainty is. And the eighth axiom basically says that shared networks, it talks about shared networks, shared forms of communication. And for example, I have me and my friends, I don't use Twitter, I don't really use Snapchat as heavily as a lot of people our age do, but I am very, very active on Instagram, and so have a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends, we're all very busy, and we don't have time for a lot of social media. So one of the platforms they use most times is Facebook or Instagram, just so we get to interact with our families and our friends at the same time, since we're not always on social media. And so I guess when you know that people share, people like to talk on the cell phone, and you like talking on the cell phone, that kind of lowers your level of uncertainty as well, because y'all have like-mindedness and using the same social networks or the same mediums of communication. Also, lastly, the last thing I want to talk about, Berger had a way of pairing these axioms together and making theorems with those. And so there were 28 theorems. Once he paired them together, there were 28 theorems that he came up with. And basically just to tell us about different human interaction and how people interact. So there's one that it ties in self-disclosure and likeness. And so he talks about that and kind of how those pair together can either destroy certain behaviors in relationship development, or it can build those relationships as well. So that's pretty much what my presentation was based off of. That was the foundation of my presentation and my research paper. And I would like to thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.